Japan is an example of a very high developed country, and it has an HDI of about 0.912, ranking it at 10th place in the world. Some other statistics about this place is that the GEM is 0.567 and the GII is 0.131. The IHDI was not available, and this is due to the fact that there was a lack of information. Over the years, the HDI and the rest of the statistics have been fairly constant, or they have been increasing. Japan has an extremely unfavorable ratio of population to resources. The country has some of the world's most intensively farmed land and highest physiological densities. The Japanese consume little meat and grains in general, with the exception of rice, but they still need to import these products. Japan also lacks many important raw materials needed for basic industries. For example, Japan is one of the world's leading steel producers, but they import almost all the coal and iron ore that is needed for the production of the steel. So you may be wondering, how is it a very high developed place with a high HDI of 0.912? Well, this is because, at first, the Japanese economy had developed due to them taking advantage of the country's one asset, which would be a large amount of people willing to work hard for low wages. The Japanese government encouraged manufacturers to sell their products to other countries at prices lower than the domestic competitors. This caused them to get a foothold in the global economy. Then Japan began to specialize in high quality and high value products, such as electronics, motor vehicles, and cameras. Japan's dominance was also achieved by concentrating resources in rigorous educational systems and training programs to create a skilled labor force. Japan has a gender inequality index of about 0.131. This gives them a rank of 21 in the world. 10.8% of the seats in the parliament are held by women. About half the adult female population participate in the labor force, while about 71.4% of the adult male population participate in the labor force. So this shows that more men do participate in labor forces. And the ratio of primary to secondary education gross enrollment of females to males is 102.6 to 102.5, so this is fairly similar. There probably won't be many problems in the future that Japan would have to face, due to the fact that it is a very high developed country. Therefore, it is already developed. But some problems in the future for Japan is having to maintain their economic status and not let the economy collapse.
The Russian Federation is a country with high human development. It has an HDI of 0.788, an IHDI of 0.760, a GEM of 0.6983, a GII of 0.312, an MPI of 0.005. All of Russia's statistics are towards the middle of the countries ranked in high human development, and all of them have been on a positive trend in the past couple of years, slowly but steadily towards a better future. A majority of the countries in Europe have high human development or very high human development. Only one has medium. Russia is in the high category. In recent years, Russia's HDI of 0.788 has had an upward trend. Globally, it's ranked about 55th with an HDI of that it went up about 11 places in the past 2 years. In the past, Russia was a major superpower, especially during the Cold War era, when it constituted a majority of the USSR. After the break of the USSR, the first democratic government of Russia was trying to break away from the practices of communism, but this ended up causing an economic crisis. And at that same point, Russia was also dealing with rebel groups, terrorists, and the debt of the USSR. So with all these factors coming together, there was a major economic depression, but under the leadership of Putin, the country once again has a growing economy. Russia has a gender inequality index of 0.312, ranking it about 55th in the world. 11.1% of the national seats in parliament are held by females. 93.5% females finish a secondary school education compared to the 96.2% of males. 56.3% of females over the age of 15 are in the workforce, whereas 71% of males are in the workforce. Russia's gender empowerment measure dropped a significant amount between 2011 and 2012, but it's back on the rise. Globally, the GEM statistics have been on the rise, and the GEI statistics on a downward climb, closing the gap between the genders. As long as Russia continues with the current statistical trends, it will continue to grow economically, demographically, and socially as a country. But the economy is the key to Russia's future success, so if Russia falls into another economic depression, it would be extremely harmful to the status of the country.
The HDI of China is 0.699. The IHDI is 0.543. The GII is 0.213, and the MPI is 0.056. The HDI of China has risen steadily from 1980 to 2000, then the growth began to sputter, increasing in small increments. Compared to other countries in Asia, the HDI is one of the highest. China ranks where it does due to the amount of manufacturing and exports. As of 2012, China has collected $1.971 trillion in exports, shipping out consumer goods such as footwear, toys, and electronics, food processing, transportation equipment, including automobiles, rail cars, and locomotives, ships and aircraft, telecommunications equipment, commercial space launch vehicles, and satellites. It mainly trades with the United States, Hong Kong, Japan, and South Korea. They can also supply themselves with many raw materials used to make these products, such as iron, steel, aluminum, and other metals, and coal. They can machine build armaments, textiles and apparel, petroleum, cement, chemicals, and fertilizers. Unlike other countries, China can provide their own raw materials, meaning they do not have to rely on other countries, and they make more profit for their goods. In terms of gender inequality, China has a GII of 0.213. 23% of political seats in China are held by women, so the woman-to-man ratio in parliament overall is 0.271. And as of 1999, the number of women employed not in an agricultural workforce is about 39% out of the total number of employees not employed in an agricultural setting. The main challenge China will face in the future is an economic struggle. It has been predicted based off previous trends that the GDP will continue to decline at a slow but significant rate. This may be caused due to a decrease in export demand from outside countries.
The average income in Madagascar annually is $828. The poverty is 0.357. For trade, their main exports are to France 23%, China 6%, and the US 6%. Their main imports are China 17%, France 12%, and South Africa 5%. Their gross domestic product per capita is around $450. The HDI of Madagascar is 0.483. Types of jobs in Madagascar are mostly factory workers or construction workers, as Madagascar is constantly growing. Their top 3 factories are meat processing, soap, and breweries. The average years of schooling for 18-year-olds is 5.2 years. Their literacy rate is 84%. The average life expectancy of a male is 64 years old, and for a female is 68 years old. Madagascar's infant mortality rate is 43, and their CBR is 33. In Madagascar, on average, men get married at the age of 22, while women get married at 19. The life expectancy at birth is 64 years old.